All right, Dr. Felton, we have questions for interview number 2.
Interview number 2.
Yep. And
Hail number 2.
they come from Facebook and other social media, website, emails, text messages. And Abby Facebooked in wanting to know who your favorite child was.
I think I know what Abby that is. And let me just say, Abby knows who my favorite child is. I am not going to answer that question.
Gretchen would like to know for a friend if there's any type of heel that's best out there.
Any type of heel. You know, I was thinking about this a little bit, and I think I even wrote that I would come up with an answer for her, but I'm going to make a little field trip out of this question. I have kind of a high heel guru or expert that I'm going to go to, and we're going to make a little field trip and go shopping and get a little bit better answer for Gretchen on that.
So
she'll
stay
have
tuned.
to stay tuned for
Okay.
that one.
Now, another question. For high arches, is there an insert out there that is best to put in a ski boot without feeling uncomfortable?
It's a good question, and I think that question was from Christina, if I remember right. I was thinking about this one as well. The answer to the question is yes, there is. There's also ways of putting things in hockey skates in particular, which I do a lot of, that can make a certain foot structure feel better. So what I think I will do to answer her question in an episode soon to follow will be, I will go to my orthotic place that I use right in Eden Prairie. It's Marathon Orthotics. The owner's great. I work very closely with them, and I'll talk to him first. We'll go in, and maybe we'll even get a demonstration of how he does it for a ski boot, for a skate. But the answer to her question is absolutely. There's things that we can put in that type of boot to make him feel comfortable without making the boot too tight or causing any other problems.
Perfect. Now, what if a patient came in with bot flies in their foot? Would that gross you out?
With bot flies in their foot. I was thinking about this one as well, and I believe that's from Christina again. Great questions. She really made me think here. The bot fly, which I'm sure she knows about already, that's why she's asking the question, I think it's from Central America, South America type of thing, and it would have to be brought up to this area. So if I was seeing it, someone carried it up from down in that part of the world. Would I be grossed out by that? No, because let me tell you about a little story. And this kind of dovetails into another question by Mitchell, I believe, which was, what is the most interesting or unusual abnormality, foot abnormality that I've seen? So a while back, I had a patient present to clinic that was being brought to see me by family members mainly because of an odor problem or they could smell something. So upon further examination, I ended up finding a foot wound that was covered over, and when I had to do my debridement and look at it, there were some maggots that were infesting the foot wound. So much like the bot fly is larva of the bot fly that is in the skin, living in the skin, these maggots were obviously deposited by either a common household, could be deposited by another common fly, the blowfly. So that was probably the most unusual foot abnormality I've seen. And to answer that first question, would I be grossed out or something by a bot fly larva in a foot? Probably not.
Okay. Everybody's wondering, are you going to get a pedicure?
I don't think that was asked again, was it?
I think it was. We had plenty of people voting that it's time for a pedicure.
That's right. There were a lot of comments on that. I've been thinking about that. I think I'm not going to answer that quite yet. It's not pedicure season, is it?
It's always pedicure
It's always
season.
pedicure
Always.
season?
I got
maybe
one
that
on
was more of
Sunday.
a summer, spring kind of thing where the toes are going to be shown. I may do that. And I may make a little field trip out of that and go to a local salon. So if there's any local salons that want us to come in and have it done there, we may entertain that idea. So stay tuned for that one.
What is the most interesting thing? Nope. We're gonna have to. So, a mother would like to know, my 17-year-old has the stinkiest feet. What's a mom to do?
I think that Lori asked that question, and I may have to argue with her on that one for the stinkiest foot from a kid. But typically, odor from feet is from sweat more often than not. So the key is wicking away the perspiration and getting things to dry out. The best way to do that, and actually cotton socks tend to, even though they might wick away the moisture from the skin, they maintain the moisture in it. The perspiration saturates the sock and it holds on to it, so it doesn't evaporate very well. So you want a material that wicks the perspiration away from the skin, gets it on the other side of that material so it can evaporate into the atmosphere. Merino wool does a nice job of doing that. Some of the synthetic fabrics out there do a very nice job of doing that. But so I would focus more on the sweat. So socks are key. Changing socks if they get saturated with sweat throughout the day. I know this isn't probably a very pleasant topic of conversation, judging by your expression. Shoes, sometimes shoes that are worn too much and are too old and don't have time to dry out can harbor odors, as well as athlete's foot. So there's some bacterial or fungal infections on the skin of the feet that can definitely add to that odor. So what is a mom to do? Probably work on the sweat thing first, and if that doesn't work, probably come see me and we can talk about antiperspirants for the skin and all kinds of things.
What advice would you give for someone who's tried natural remedies for a few years and should really probably see a podiatrist, but is terrified of the treatment and the pain most likely to occur?
Is this Nikki's question?
It is.
I would say if you've tried, and there's a lot of people that try home remedies and natural remedies to try to alleviate foot problems and pain and things like that. I'd say if you've tried those and it's not getting any better, definitely don't worry about things you've heard about your condition, how painful they are, what you have to have done to get it treated, because probably 80% of the time that is not what needs to be done, and it's usually not as uncomfortable as what you've heard. You tend to hear the horror story or the worst case scenario. So I could probably go on and on about that one. I don't know what the exact problem is, but I would encourage her, go in and be seen by a foot specialist. We will be gentle and thorough and make sure we ease the pain as best we can without causing too much discomfort. And I was trying to get through all these answers, keeping it short, so I'm not going to go on any more about that one, otherwise people are going to tune out, but she can certainly look us up if she needs to.
So, Dr. Felton, I was in
Yes.
your office searching for snacks, and I found this hat. Can you explain that hat to me, please?
Well, again, I'm trying to keep this short. I don't have enough time to explain this hat. Those that know this hat need no explanation about it, but this is my Southwind hat. I'm a former Prince of the Southwind in the St. Paul Winter Carnival, which is currently going on right now. We have almost 2 weeks of a Winter Carnival due to the Super Bowl. So I would encourage everybody to visit the Ice Palace, the ice sculptures. We had a wonderful coronation, and congratulations to Mr. Tom Leonard of Fury Motors, an organization that keeps giving back to our community, but he is Boreas Rex the 82nd. And also congratulations to another South St. Paul guy, Mr. Steve Duty. He is the current Southwind. So what we do with this is we just put it on. It's part of our costume. And I don't think this was in my office. I don't know where you got this. But we wear it just like this, and then occasionally when we see somebody deserving, we give them an Olay just like this. Olay!
Does everybody have the same hat?
We have the same style hat, but they're definitely different, and you have to look a little closer. Everyone puts their own little twist on them, but for the most part, they look like this.
And does everybody Olay the same?
Everybody does not Olay the same. I didn't know this was going to be such a big part of this video. In fact, it's the Olay that probably separates the men from the boys, so to speak.
So on a signing out note, give us one more good Olay.
Serious? Olay!